We ready? Pogan Laul ran his fingers through his blonde hair. Today was going to be a good day. Today, they were going to Ridgefield Elementary School, and this video was going to make them so much money. Pogan Laul winked at the pull-down mirror in the car, and glanced at the person sitting to the left of him, and smiled. Yeah, we're just about ready. Remember, don't give away what we're doing just yet. That part has to be later in the video. The man looked tired. His brown hair was unkempt, and he barely looked prepared for the rest of the day. He'd had to deal with Pogan Laul all morning, and there's only so much he could handle. Still, he was going to be on camera, so it was time to fake it or break it. Sammy, I know my job. I specifically chose this place, Pogan Laul said. Sorry, man. I'm just trying to do my job, Sammy said. Suddenly, Pogan Laul smiles. Aw, Sammy, I'm just ripping fun. This is going to be spectacular. This video is going straight to trending, and that means more money for all of us. Well, unless we actually find a dead body, said a light voice in the back of the van. Then we won't be making money because if we do, the internet will crucify us. The voice belonged to Talia Sinclair, the beautiful female face of the Pogan Laul group. Her job, and it was a job because Pogan Laul didn't like to be committed to anything, was to be Pogan Laul's public girlfriend. In reality, she was just a friend and fellow creator on the largest video site on the internet. That's the beauty of this plan, Pogan Laul turned to face her. If we don't find a dead body, then we just play up the spook factor and make lots of money. And if we do find a dead body, then it becomes the biggest video on the internet, which leads people to the rest of my videos and makes us more money. We'll even throw up a hotline and some inspirational words of wisdom so people know that I'm a caring person. There's no losing. For the next 10 minutes, the van was silent. The hum of the car engine was the only noise besides the breathing and awkward shuffles of the others involved. It was like the entire group was collectively trying to decide whether to oppose the person making them rich and famous or to just go along with it. It was the longest 10 minutes they'd ever experienced. Moments like these happened all too often, and it was the longest 10 minutes every time. The silence was broken by Pogan Laul. All right, let's get the camera rolling and pop this cherry. Sammy broke into a smile. Talia leaned back as the red light of the camera came on. The person sitting next to Talia leaned over in an obvious attempt to get on camera. His name was Kevin, and he didn't sit through that previous 10 minutes feeling awkward. Instead, he spent it smiling. This was his moment, his time to shine, and all he had to do was follow Pogan Laul's lead, and he was going to come out of this with more money than sense. He would never oppose Pogan Laul, because Pogan Laul was his bank. The others wouldn't oppose Pogan Laul for the same reason, but Kevin didn't care how obvious it was. He was a yes man, and he knew it. Hey, good morning, my Poganeers. What's poppin'? It's 2018, it's the last day of 2017, let's recap for a second. Pogan Laul's loud and overpowering personality filled the van as he addressed his audience. Guys, I hope you had an amazing year. I hope you achieved all the goals you wanted to. I hope you had all the sex you wanted to. I hope you got all A's on your tests. I hope you got in better shape. Pogan Laul paused there. The others were looking at him funny. What? He said. What did I say? Sammy sighed. Most of your audience are children. You can't wish them lots of sex. Sammy, you are just being a total negative Nancy today. I'm gonna follow it up with something better. Pogan Laul was eyeing Sammy. Alright, you're the boss, Sammy smiled. Pogan Laul turned to the camera again. But if you didn't do me a favor. Come up with a New Year's resolution by the end of this vlog, because we're going to make 2018 great. Our family is only getting stronger, and by the end of 2018, who knows where the Poganeers are going to be. So if you're not subscribed yet, join the strongest family on YouTube, the Poganeers. That is you, hey. Pogan Laul posed for several moments so the camera picked it up, and then leaned back in his chair as the camera was shut off. The Ridgefield Elementary School was known for being haunted. Back in the 1960s, the building was shut down, and despite renovations, new owners, and reopen attempts, it has stayed that way. The reason it was closed was likely due to bankruptcy, but the reason it's considered haunted is known all throughout the city. Immediately after it was closed, the first body was found, the body of a young man who overdosed on heroin. From that day forward, more than 100 bodies are found inside of the walls of the school every year, all dead from overdosing on various drugs. The city has had to hire security to patrol the massive building at night, in an attempt to avoid such a terrible loss of life. The building has become a kind of sin that the city is continuously paying for, because they can't afford to knock it down. Pogan Laul isn't the first to come to this place looking to illegally explore a haunted building, and he wouldn't be the last. He stood in front of the doors of the tall, imposing building, holding a sleeping bag and wearing a little green men hat from Toy Story. Looking at him, Sammy thought Pogan Laul looked like a madman, and maybe he was. Perhaps next time let us know that the plan was to spend the night. Sammy forced a smile, even though he was pretty annoyed. Everyone else was busy laughing at the van as they pulled the rest of the equipment out. Pogan Laul laughed. I wanted it to be a surprise, a New Year's surprise. But Sammy rubbed the bridge of his nose. If you had, then we could have made a few calls so that we could avoid getting in trouble. We haven't even checked if this was allowed. Pogan Laul stopped laughing and stared at Sammy, clearly angry. You gotta learn to push the limits, Sammy, or you're going to end up left behind while the rest of us wind up on top. Know what I mean? Pogan Laul waved toward a plump man pulling equipment out with the rest. Besides, we have a guide who will keep us out of trouble. Sammy laughed nervously. Yeah, you certainly paid him enough to do anything you want. Pogan Laul broke into a wide smile. You're a genius! I'm going to see if he'll do something wacky on camera. This is gonna be a blast. You'll see, Sammy. Sammy sighed and prepared for the rest of the day, knowing that none of this would ever show up in the vlog. It was an hour later when things really took a turn. They'd been traveling through the corridors, looking for a place to set up their camp. During the walk, Pogan Laul spent a lot of time asking the ghosts of drug addicts not to spook him. They had all decided that the cafeteria was the best place for them to place their lights and sleeping bags for the night. Guys, Talia stopped after she'd turned into the cafeteria. Is there someone over there? The cafeteria tables sat at weird angles throughout the room. The windows were mostly broken, and the cold wind blew into the room. Old ragged sheets and torn mattresses littered the floor among the detritus and discarded clothing. In the distance, sticking from behind an overturned table, was a person's foot. There was no shoe, just a knobby foot sticking out, like an omen of things to come. Is he dead? Pogan Laul seemed more excited than upset. Should I turn on the camera? Sammy reached for the button. No. We have to know if he's dead first. Pogan Laul stood on his toes, trying to see over the table, hiding the body. Sammy, Kevin, go take a look. Leave the camera here. Sammy and Kevin slowly made their way toward the foot sticking out from behind the table. The closer they got, the more the smell flooded their nose. Before they'd even gotten close enough to see the body clearly, the smell told them the body was dead. The smell was a mixture of rotted meat and old eggs. Sammy gagged as he stepped around the table, and Kevin was strangely quiet. The body was clearly dead. The man looked like he was supposed to be skinny, but had been blown up like a balloon. His skin was a light blue, except at the tips of his fingers, which were a dark black green. Sammy heard Kevin gasp behind him, but was too busy fighting to keep his lunch down to look over. The dead man's lips were dark blue, and from the corner streamed a line of dried vomit. Before it had dried up, the vomit had puddled beneath the man's head and soaked into the sheets he died on. There was a line of needle marks from his wrist to a strip of rubber that was wrapped around his arm. A large needle sat above that strip of rubber, sticking out from the dead man's arm. Sammy took a step back. Oh my God. It was Kevin that called over to Pogan Laul. Yeah, he's totally dead, dude. Sammy couldn't help but note the sounds of excitement coming from both Kevin and Pogan Laul. He and Kevin both made their way back. We should call the police, Sammy said, sadly. Pogan Laul laughed. No, even better. What if I announce the body to the audience and then ask one of you to call the police? It will look better that way. Kevin nodded, and Sammy was about to say something, but stopped himself. If he went any further, he would probably lose his job. Instead, he grabbed the camera and got it ready for filming, while Pogan Laul talked with the others. Okay, Pogan Laul said. So I'm gonna come walking forward from the back, and I'll be acting all nervous and upset. We'll treat the audience like they're here with us, and then we'll show them the sights we have right now. The foot sticking out is a great image. That's going to skyrocket the amount of people clicking on this video. In fact, before we start, I should probably get a thumbnail of me closer to the body. Wait, Sammy stopped working on the camera. You're going to put the body in the video? Yeah, of course, Pogan Laul pointed at his face. As long as we blur out the face, no one will complain. It's just going to make the video perform even better. We're also going to market this as comedy, so I'm going to need some laughs when I make a good joke. Pogan Laul began to walk toward the body, but stopped and spun around. Oh! We'll make it like a moment from the Goonies or Stand By Me, like an adventure that we as friends have experienced together. It will be perfect. Talia grinned. There's no way you're a good enough actor to pull that off. How many Disney shows have you been in? Pogan Laul guffawed back. Talia went quiet. Her smile vanished. Hey Sammy! Pogan Laul started to move the table laying in front of the body. I'm gonna need lots of close-ups, and after we're done getting the thumbnail, we'll have to move this table back. Sammy felt sick. He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be doing this. But as he saw Pogan Laul working with Kevin on the thumbnail, he knew he had no choice. Without Pogan Laul, his life is over. Without Pogan Laul, he'll be nothing but a small-time YouTuber who never breaks 1 million subs. He swallowed his own vomit and went over to get some close-ups. In the end, Pogan Laul got his footage, and then the police were called. They went back to the hotel because the police told them they couldn't stay the night. Pogan Laul recorded 2 self-aggrandizing speeches about the situation, one for the beginning of the video, and one for the end. Overall, the video had 3 requests for the people watching to subscribe, and only 2 mentions of the dangers of drug overdose. Pogan Laul uploaded the video, and it caused an uproar. Apparently, people don't think a dead body being shown in a video is funny. let alone the body of a person who died in such a terrible state. Pogan Laul made 2 apologies, one that was half-baked, and another that was a little too late. In a week, the internet moved on. They turned the conversation to something else, and Pogan Laul barely saw a blip in his numbers. Sammy continued to work for Pogan Laul, but he would never forget the side of Pogan Laul that was shown that day. And he couldn't help but wonder, what would people think about Pogan Laul if they had actually known about what went on when the camera wasn't recording? He wondered if people would ever know the kind of monster Pogan Laul really was.